they want to go to the toilet. Whereas you would say you want to use the restroom. They're going on a trip. Whereas you would say you're taking a voyage. They're going to eat. Whereas you would say you're going to dine. Recently, I talked to you about the idea of you deserving more and why it's so important for you to believe deep down that you deserve more. And the whole point of that was not that you deserve more because you are inherently better than other people, but because you are willing to do the work required to have more in your life, to get more out of your life, to squeeze more juice out of your life. You're willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do, and that's why you deserve more. Okay? And I want to discuss with you today ways that you can avoid a race to the bottom. And that's what we're going to be talking about principally today, is avoiding a race to the bottom. Because if you believe that you deserve more, then it follows that you must be interested in avoiding a race to the bottom, which so many people in this world that we live in today seem to be engaged in. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of the mental keys that I think that you need to avoid a race to the bottom. And I want you to stick around so that you can get those keys. But first, let me just tell you that I am Mark Johnson, the founder of BouncePet, bringing you ideas for a fit and flourishing future. I am also the youngest son of Bill Johnson. Let me just say I'm proud that my father just recently, within the past week, turned 94 years old. He's still strong, still got his mental faculties. And the reason I bring that up is because I want you to understand that that could be possible for you as well. Keep yourself in good condition, take care of yourself. You can live a long life, okay? It's possible. Now, with all that said, I want you to leave comments because I like hearing from you guys. Even if you don't agree with everything I say and you leave a dissenting comment, that's okay. Go ahead and leave it. And a lot of times I do respond. Now let's jump in. Okay, let's get down to business because I know that you're here for business. Now, if you take a look around, just look out into the world, you will notice that there are a lot of people engaged in a race to the bottom. One of the signs that I really have noticed over the years is how music has changed. You see, when I was growing up, the hip hop genre was new, and hip hop was really the first genre of music that really just embraced profanity. But what I've noticed over the years is that we've arrived in 2025 and you hear profanity proliferating throughout pretty much, I don't want to say all, but almost all genres of music. I don't hear it in opera or anything like that. But if you're listening to modern music, it's hard not to notice how much profanity has proliferated and how common it's become. And one of the things that I've always felt about this for a long time really is that it's so unnecessary. I hear the four-letter words being dropped in songs and they don't improve the songs. They don't make them sound better. It's just crude and rude. But this is the world we live in now. Everybody is racing to the bottom, right? When I was growing up, you used to hear a lot of genuine love songs. Now, what I hear is people singing about just jumping in the bed with each other as soon as they possibly can, barely even knowing each other. It's like there's just this huge obsession, this focus on people just getting their rocks off, I guess. And this is just permeating modern music. You don't hear as much genuine love, like love songs that you used to hear. So again, a race to the bottom. Now, I just bring up that example because I think it's something that's very obvious, and I think it's something, especially some of you who are a little bit more mature, you've probably noticed this as well. You've noticed this change over the years. So I think you can relate to what I'm saying there. And I want to impress upon you again the idea that you want to avoid a race to the bottom. And if you believe that you deserve more, okay, you're trying to squeeze as much quality juice out of life as you possibly can, then it follows that you also believe you need to avoid a race to the bottom. Now, there are a couple of kind of mental notes that I want you to take here. I'm going to drop two words for you, okay? And I want you to remember these words. The first one is literally words. The second one is reps. So these are the two words I want you to remember today. Words and reps. You see, the words that you use affect how you feel and how you approach life, how you go out into the day and conduct yourself. The words that are going through your mind literally affect your behavior. So I want you to think about how you can upgrade the words that you use, the words that you're thinking, okay? Most importantly, the words that you're thinking, because that's going to dictate what comes out of your mouth, okay? But not only that, what actually comes out of your mouth. Be intentional about the words that you use because they will affect how you behave. They will affect how you visualize things and how you see possibilities and outcomes for yourself in the future. I'm telling you, your words will literally affect how you visualize things. Okay? So most people would say they want to go to the toilet. Whereas you would say you want to use the restroom. Most people would say they're going on a trip. Whereas you would say you're taking a voyage. Or most people would say they're going to eat. Whereas you would say you're going to dine. Now you see, the words invoke very, very different mental imagery. You see, a trip just doesn't quite evoke the same imagery as a voyage. The toilet, when you say that, and then when you think about it, when you get a mental picture of what it is, the toilet doesn't evoke the same mental image as the restroom. And I know that these examples may sound somewhat silly to you, but I do believe you get my point. Fundamentally, they're the same thing, but the nuance is very, very different, right? The words that you use, the nuance behind the words, create very, very different mental imagery, very, very different expectations, okay? And importantly, very different expectations for your life and how you want to live and what you believe you have coming to you in the future. So I want you to examine the words that you use and be careful and ask yourself, You know, are these bottom feeder type words or are these aspirational words? Words that get you thinking about a bigger, better picture. Words that inspire you to do more so that you can be more, right? Give you another example. We talk about a trip versus a voyage. Again, just the difference in wording, for instance, if you're going to go on a cruise. Now, you could go on a Carnival cruise. Nothing wrong with a Carnival cruise. A lot of people do it, have fun, enjoy it, swear by it. But a Carnival cruise is not, by any stretch of the imagination, the same as a Silver Sea cruise. Okay, so if you cruise on Silver Sea, this evokes very, very different feelings. And in fact, the experiences that you have on that type of a cruise will be very, very different to the experiences that you have on a Carnival cruise or MSC cruise or something like that, right? So the idea of expectations, okay, avoiding a race to the bottom, believing that you deserve more, right? All of those things, all of those ideas should lead you to examine the words that you use in your life closely and carefully and make sure that, again, you're not using these bottom feeder type words all the time. They affect how you feel. They affect how you behave. They affect the possibilities you see in your life. I'm telling you, it's true. Okay? Now, I mentioned another word, which is reps. Okay? That's the second word here. Reps. This is the second word that I want you to internalize. Okay? And of course, this comes straight out of the gym. Now, why is the word reps important? Well, because when you get down to it, reps boils down to action. Now, if you are visualizing bigger and better things for yourself, it's important to understand that it's not going to happen all at once. Like that typically doesn't happen. That's very, very rare. I know that we hear stories about people achieving wild success, realizing their greatest dream, or even something beyond their dreams, and it sounds instant, but those are extremely rare cases. Those are exceptional cases. I want you to understand that in order for you to get from point A to point Z, there are a lot of reps that come in between. Remember what I said about being willing to do what other people won't do. Okay? And that willingness is why you deserve more out of life. You need to be putting in reps all the time. Just like when you're at the gym, you're putting in reps all the time. You don't see any change with a single rep, right? I just came from the gym a couple hours ago. I went and did a workout and I did a bunch of reps. Now, I don't expect to see any difference when I look in the mirror in the morning, tomorrow. I just don't. But I know that over time, the reps will accumulate. And you know this as well. If you're doing reps, you know that over time, those reps accumulate into effects that improve your energy levels, that improve how nice you look, that improve your stamina, that improve your strength, that improve your mood, that improve your mental fortitude, that improve your flexibility, your mobility. We could go on and on and on, right? If you're eating well, you put in reps in terms of eating as well, right? You're eating a good healthy diet on a regular basis. Those are reps as well. Repping. And over time, you move from point A to point Z. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to get discouraged when you're thinking big and you've got aspirations for something bigger and better in your life and they seem far away. Understand that you have to keep repping, even when it feels like nothing is happening, when it seems like nothing is happening, and you've been going and going and going, and it just seems like nothing is happening. Keep repping, because this is how you avoid the race to the bottom. This is how you get more out of your life than other people get out of theirs. All right? It's the reps. The reps. The reps. It's no different than when you're training at the gym. You have to take that outside of the gym. Everything that you do at the gym is practice and preparation for life outside of it. So you need to be repping in other areas of your life outside of the gym. And that is how you avoid a race to the bottom. So that's my message for you today. Okay? Understand that mediocrity has a gravity. It really does. And people, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, will pull you down to their level if you allow them to. And you have to be intentional about not allowing them to do that. Okay? That means being willing to do what other people won't do. Sometimes you have to embrace discomfort. Sometimes you have to do the things, put in the reps that you don't always feel like putting in, but you do them because you know that over time, the effect is going to accumulate. It's just like if you're investing money, that's putting in reps too. If you're investing money, you invest on a regular basis, whether it's once a month or a couple times a month, whatever it is, you keep putting in money, whether it's a large amount of money or a small amount of money. You keep investing. And over time, that money starts working for you. Instead of you working for it, it starts working for you. It doesn't happen overnight. That's why the reps are so important. But if you just keep repping, there will be an accumulation. Okay? Now, the very last point I want to make to you is this before I leave you. Putting in the reps doesn't guarantee that you're going to make it all the way to where you're going to go. There's no guarantee. But putting in the reps is the only way to guarantee yourself that you have a shot. Okay? Putting in the reps is the only way to guarantee yourself that you have a shot. And a lot of people aren't willing to put in the reps and they've got no shot. Okay? I want you to put in the reps. Keep working towards that thing and keep going for it and give yourself a shot. Even if you start at A and you want to make it to Z, even if you never quite make it to Z, you might make it to R, you might make it to S. That's still a long way. It's a lot further than those people who aren't willing to put in any reps. So that's my message for you today. All right? Words and reps. Words and reps. Words and reps. Take that with you. Talk to you next time.